Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to resolve this problem that most iPhones have after getting in contact with water through the ear speaker. It will just stay stuck in a boot loop like it is right now, turn on and off, and you can't do nothing. Sometimes it might try to jump to recovery mode, and sometimes it will just keep boot looping like this. But if you know a little bit about iPhone repair like I do, you will also know that unplugging this speaker after it's gotten damaged and then trying to restart the phone we'll have the phone turn on just fine, but we'll have an issue. Since this whole front flex is unplugged now, the sensors won't work, the Face ID won't work, and the front speaker won't work. Look, Face ID can't be activated on this iPhone. So we're gonna grab a known good front flex. Just kidding, these front flexes are serialized, so if we were to replace it, we would lose Face ID on our beautiful iPhone 11 Pro. So can you replace it while retaining Face ID? The answer is yes. And today I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. First of all, let's get the screen off here. I got the JC programmer right here with the right module for it. This is for the front flexes. You can test them with this programmer. And if we plug it in and hit test, you'll notice that it says abnormal on each and every one of these things, which means the front flex is busted. So let's take this front speaker off. Let's take the whole front cable off. Usually after water damage, what you can do is you can desolder the ALS right here or the proximity sensor, clean the corrosion underneath, and then put them back on, which is what I did on this model. But the corrosion had already eaten away some of the pads, and even after reinstalling it very properly twice, it would just keep showing abnormal and boot looping. So I guess that the ALS itself got shorted because the corrosion was really bad. Anyways, this means that we cannot transfer this to a new flex either because it's broken. So how are we gonna retain it then? This is the beautiful part. You can do it without the original flex cable. So we can basically just tear this thing apart and it's not gonna make a difference. All we need to retain is the speaker, but that's easily desoldered by desoldering these two solder joints right here. Just make sure you grab some flux and maybe add some extra solder if the blobs are not big enough on there already. So now let's desolder the flex. There we go. We're not going to be needing that anymore. This is the part that we need. This is a programmable front flex. So after unbinding the phone to the computer, it will be able to read all the data and also write the data that's supposed to be on this part and this part. It can just read that from the phone itself. And then we should be able to write it to our new flex cable. So let's unbox it. I'll clean the speaker up a little bit because there's flux everywhere. So now let's solder this new flex cable onto our old ear speaker. There we go. Look at these. These are some perfect balls on there. Let's get it cleaned up. And now let's get it installed onto our new screen. And there we go. We should have it installed nicely now. Okay, there we go. Now, if we check this flex cable, let's see. I believe the machine will prompt us to write data to it. Look, now it says normal, not abnormal, but unactivated because it still needs to read the data from the phone to write to the flex. So that's our next step. So for that, we'll move over to the computer. Oh, and before I forget, you do want to reassemble the phone before we connect it to the computer. So let's see. It should turn on, but the Face ID shouldn't work since we haven't written the appropriate data to the front flex. So let's see. It turned on again and it's still giving us the Face ID error. We can try to set it up, but it's gonna hit us with an error. Anyways, now that this iPhone is up and running, let's connect it to the computer. And inside the computer, we want to head over to Smart Flash and download the newest software. I would like to keep iOS 15 on here because that's pretty rare. But unfortunately, you can only do this by flashing the newest software. So I'm either going to have to choose between iOS 15 without Face ID or iOS 26 with Face ID on this iPhone. It's a shame, but it's still cool that I can fix it. I'd rather have iOS 26 on it. So now we're going to wait for it to download. Almost there. Almost. Okay, it's done. So we don't want to forget to click the unbind button because that's what it's all about. I used to do this with the JC app always, but apparently you can do it with 3U tools as well nowadays. So I hope that works. Let's hit start flashing and then flash now. Right now, I hope that these programs synchronize, we should be able to open up the JC Repair Assistant. Then we gotta connect it to the computer with the USB-C cable. And once this thing boots up, we can look at the top here and a button should appear. As you can see, we can hit connect now. And it says bound to these things, so I'm not sure if the unbinding worked on the 3U tools. We can check that by hitting the brushing button right here. And by having the phone connected, it should show us, oh look, no factory unbind. So we did just unbind the phone in 3U tools, but apparently that didn't do anything. Oh no, it did. So you can hit the view button. This is the codes that it has unbound from the phone. And these are the ones we need. So let's see, the ambient light sensor and the proximity sensor. Okay, so we need the ambient sensor, the ambient light sensor, and the disk sense. I think that is the proximity sensor. Yeah, so we do have these two codes. We just don't have them auto-filled in the JC program right now. But I hope that we can change this because we do have the codes now. Anyways, the idea is that we have to unsnap this cable from the phone while it's still on. And then we can connect the proximity sensor like this. I know it looks like a mess, because it is. But let's see, we can hit start testing and it's gonna test our new cable. Look, so then we wanna hit activate. Oh look, so we can actually write them ourselves. That's perfect. Okay, so this was the code for the proximity sensor. Let's put that in here. And this is the ambient light sensor. Let's copy it and put that in here. And hit OK. And I assume that is writing right now, but I'm not too sure. Maybe we'll have to hit activate FPC again. Oh, so after putting these codes in the boxes, it doesn't do anything. And it keeps on prompting us to unbind the fucking iOS device. So we'll have to unbind it from the JC app itself. Again. So the phone is still connected. Let's hit brushing. And we need to import the firmware that we just downloaded from 3U tools. This is where we downloaded the firmware from 3U tools. So let's select it, and now it's gonna do the exact same thing except in the JC program. First it's gonna unbind the phone, and then we'll have to force restart it again and flash the phone. You can see it's saying unbinding the machine. And the phone is also in this recovery mode again. So all we gotta do now is wait, so we can finish the same process that it just did in 3U tools, which was useless. It just finished flashing. Let's hit confirm and then force restart the phone because it's stuck on the Apple logo now. Here we go, it's turning on again. And now we'll need to reflash it through 3U tools again. And now we wait for the phone to flash again. Okay, it's been a while. It says congratulations, device activation successful. Let's see, look at the Frankenstein contraption. Oh, so it's already activated. Let's see if we can skip the setup. I guess I'll just press this button. Oh, there we go. So it actually succeeded. Now, yeah, we still got the Face ID issue, but we need to go back to the JC program. Now that we have unbound the phone in the JC program, we gotta head over to repair fitting again. Since we still have the programmer connected to the computer, we can hit connect. Look, and now it says factory unbind. I hope this is gonna make a difference. Then I'll test the flex again, because I also still have the flex cable hooked up to the programmer, which is hooked up to the computer. Oh, it says disconnected. Yeah, so I think it's like bugging out. I don't know what it's doing. I'll just click activate again. So it should, yeah, look, now it comes up with the codes itself. Hit OK. Oh, now it does work. So it has to come up with the codes itself. Then why is there even an option to fill in the codes I got from 3U tools? That sucks. Anyways, look, it says write completion. So I guess we need to restart the phone to check if it actually works. And we need to connect the cable again. I'm excited. Alright, so I've removed the programmer. Now we're going to turn the phone off. Unplug. And head over to the workbench. Alright, we just want to connect the front flex cable. Now I'm going to turn it on. The Face ID warning is still there. Okay, so it still shows a Face ID issue in the settings. But look, now it's gone. Anyways, whatever the message says, we are gonna check regardless. So I'm gonna click setup Face ID. And look, it lets us set up Face ID now. And it works properly. So isn't that cool? We've just save the Face ID on an iPhone with an unavoidable fade? Well, apparently not. Anyways, that's it, you guys. I hope you guys learned something today. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. Peace out.